Nice. You're here. I'm so excited. Please tell me you can hear me.
I can.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh my gosh,
Hi.
you are so adorable.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
So you're on the
you.
west coast of Newfoundland, right?
Yes, known as West Coast, Best Coast. Yes,
West coast.
yes,
You know, my mom's from Placentia. So she's from the like
yes.
Argentia, Placentia. I'm trying to change this around. How I see. Anyway, how you're adorable. So I don't know why we're how did I don't know.
Did you get it fixed?
No. Not yet.
Okay.
Right on mine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm so glad you found me. How did you find me on TikTok? I'm curious if I just came up or
I don't know. It's been a while.
it's
That every now and then you'll pop up on my FYP page, and I'll always pop in. And I heard you say, I think one time I commented, I said hello because you're asking where everyone was from. I was like, hello from Newfoundland, and then you mentioned that your mom was from St. John's area. And then there's one day you put on Great Big Sea. I was like, deadly. I love this lady.
deadly sweet. That was so much fun. You know, I
So,
think I met when I came to Newfoundland and I was real young, really wild. I think I met the lead singer like way long time ago before he was lead singer. And then he came to Ann Arbor and he like meets everybody right after the show. He always goes up every, pictures, and he stopped at me and he's like, "Wait, you're so like I know you." And I didn't realize it till later. So that's my anti-claim to fame is I never realized
what?
anything until later.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm super excited to speak to you, Bobby. Do you like Bobbi-Jo or Bobby?
I tell you, I go whatever. Mom, I've grown up with Bobby. As I got older, I kind of went with Bobbi-Jo because when you're applying for jobs and stuff, people remember Bobbi-Jo. Um, when I was growing up, my best friend's mom always called me Robert Joseph. So whatever. I'm
Robert.
not fussy.
That's funny. So,
Yeah.
the reason that we got together today was just to really talk about your near-death experience or your death
Yeah.
experience. I always like to call it
Yeah.
like you died. You died. Let's
I
figure
did.
out.
I died.
So it wasn't near death, it was at death. And so,
Yeah,
and then you came back.
I did. And I use it all the time. Like if somebody like here in Newfoundland, if somebody says something really, really funny, it's like, oh my God, I died laughing. Or if something funny, if we talk about doing something funny, like, oh my God, I would die, right? So I use that all the time talking to my friends. Like if something funny is going to happen, I'd be like, oh, I would die. And I'll go dot, dot, dot again. So
I did. I
I
did
use
die.
it all the time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Again. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you could like bring us to sort of where did it start? Like, how did it start? Like, what was going up to this experience? What happened? And then what happened during the experience? And then what happened afterwards? Like the whole thing. Tell us everything.
It was crazy. I was working at home that day because I work hybrid, so I can work at home or in my office. Depends on my mood. So I was working home that day. It was a normal day. I felt fine. After I finished work that day, I called a friend of mine on the phone in St. John's, and we chatted for like a half an hour or more just about how we always talk about how we have to make life changes, we're going to lose weight, we're going to do it together. But then we always say, but we're like children. We don't do the things that we have to do. So we had this conversation for like a half an hour. I got off the phone. I went upstairs, started the car because me and my sister were going to go to Walmart. I used the bathroom right quick and came back out because it's cold here in Newfoundland in January. So I leaned on the counter. I'm just scrolling my phone or TikTok and just waiting for the car to warm up. And I hit a burning feeling right in my jaw, and it just went down my torso and out both arms. It was like if you had an open cut and you poured vinegar on it. Like it was just an intense burn, pain in my elbows and wrists, and I was like, oh, this is not good. And I just started shaking. I was in so much pain. Tried to get a blood pressure, couldn't get a reading, so we went straight to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, which is only about a 5-minute drive, I knew, I said, I'm having a heart attack. And my partner said, no, he said, you're going to be fine. I was like, no, I'm definitely having a heart attack. And I just instantly started praying. I was like, I can't leave my sons. I can't. And specifically my youngest, I was like, I can't leave Parker. I felt my oldest would be okay, but my youngest, no, definitely not. So we got to the hospital and we went to register. I was just in so much pain that they couldn't get me registered. So she's like, just go straight to triage and knock on the door. So I went in, and I think the nurse was thinking I was having a panic attack or anxiety, and it was more like, slow down your breathing, you're okay. And I was like, I'm not okay, I'm having a heart attack. So about 8 minutes after I got there, we went into inside Emerge and had an EKG done. And as soon as it printed, she was like in a hurry to get me out of the little room that I was in. And she's like, we're going to trauma. So while I'm walking there, another nurse comes on the other side of me. We're walking to the trauma room, and I was like, I'm having a heart attack, right? And they're like, well, the doctor has to read it. I was like, you just gotta tell me. Just tell me. And she's like, it's suspicious of a heart attack. So I'm in a small town, living, Stephenville, Newfoundland, like the hospital, it's small.
Yeah.
The staff that evening was like, it was like the most intricate dance I've ever seen. And this is what I was focusing on. Like, they put me on the bed, like they had 3 IVs going, like all the meds, and the poor doctor that was on call in Emerge, he was young. And when he walked in and seen everything that was going on, he looked like he shit himself. He was scared. So, but there was an internist there, another doctor there, so he came in, he specializes in cardiology, and he just walked in and he took over the room.
Nice.
And all the nurses were going, like everything was timed, like the medications, the sprays, the IVs, like it was just a dance. It was phenomenal. I was so impressed. And
you're impressed as you're having a heart attack and you're on the table and you're like, this is amazing.
I was so impressed. Like it was like, I don't know. I can't even, like, I don't know. I was just so highly impressed. And I'm watching everybody because I did I don't know if they have it similar in the States, but you have like your RN nurse, and then you have like your practical nurse, which is a step underneath the registered nurse. So I almost finished that whole course. So I have like knowledge. I know stuff that's going on. So I was watching all the things and listening to the medications that they're pushing, like for pain, like the morphine and the fentanyl, like all the things were going. And he's talking about, I'm hearing what he's saying to the nurses, like heart attack, she's not responding to medications and all the things. And then I just felt like, I kept saying, like, the whole time, every time this one particular nurse came in, I was like, you can't let me go. Like, you can't let me go. And she's like, you're not going anywhere. We're ready. We got you. And all of a sudden, it was like somebody grabbed me by the back. Like, if somebody grabbed you by the back of the shirt and just pulled, I felt like such a strong pull.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, right, Newfie, boys, I'm gone.
Oh, right. Yeah, totally Newfie. Totally Newfie. Bye, I'm gone.
I'm gone. And just like that, flat line, eyes roll back, gone.
Wow.
And I knew, like, the whole time there, like, I was scared. I don't want to leave I can't leave my kids. But that pull, and I said, I'm gone. Like, instantly, I knew I was gone. Like, it was no big bright light. I didn't see the big bright light, but it was darkness, and it was just so quiet, and the most peaceful feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. Like I was like, I'm okay. I'm not there anymore, but I'm okay. Like this is just so peaceful. And you're a mom. So
Yep.
you know that first look of your baby and it's just like this big flush of love, like so
Uh-huh.
much. That was like it was just all around me, like just really just I don't know.
Wow.
It was just such an amazing feeling. And I was just coming to terms with it all. Like, okay, I'm gone, but I'm okay. This is peaceful. Like, this is phenomenal. And then that same pull I felt on the back when I was going, I felt as like somebody grabbed me and was pulling me this way. And I could hear, like, it was so quiet, but then as the pull was getting stronger, I could start to hear the commotion and the noise and everything that was happening in the room. And then my eyes popped open and it was like a big breath and I was back.
Yeah.
And I was laying there and I was just looking, like just processing really what just happened. So I'm just laying there, I'm looking at this big light on the ceiling in the emerge room. And this little nurse, she's the cutest thing ever. Like I'm just staring, I didn't say anything. I wasn't blinking, I was just staring. And then I'm laid down and her little tiny face just pops right in front of mine. She's like, what are you looking at? What do you see? Don't you go no more. And I was like, I'm good. But when I came back, there was no pain. I didn't feel any pain, and I was calm. It was just so calming, like everything was still buzzing all around, but I was just so calm. I was just completely okay and at peace.
Now, what I find so interesting, have you done any NDE research after your own NDE?
No, I didn't because I've been consumed with the type of heart attack that I've had.
Mm.
It wasn't from any like blockages like for cholesterol or anything like that. It's a condition called SCAD. It's a spontaneous coronary artery dissection.
Oh,
It happens mostly in women. 80% of SCAD attacks happen in women, and the average age is 42. I just turned 43 in November.
okay.
So that's where my focus has been. Like it's completely, like it says, spontaneous. There's no underlying cause. Like a lot of women in the support groups that I'm in, they're like fitness instructors or they avid hikers or just very fit, healthy women that
Mm-hmm.
just like, and if you do have a heart attack with SCAD, the heart attacks are called the widowmaker
Ooh, right.
because there's very brutal. So what happened was that the inside of the artery, it just cracks. So then
Wow.
blood flows in behind the lining and then bulges down and blocks off blood flow to the heart. So that's where I've been consumed with research and all the things. And I didn't do any research really because I'm like, well, I didn't see the light. So I didn't have the big experience. I didn't see any family. Nobody came to get me. I was just left
Well, it
there.
sounds like you were gotten and you were put right back.
I was, but the pull was, I couldn't fight it. I couldn't fight it, and I was gone for just a little over a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The compressions, and it was only one shock, and I came back, so it wasn't like a long period of time. But I'll never forget the feeling of that pull. And for
Wow.
some reason, I know I wasn't sitting up, but I felt like I was sitting, and someone was pulling me back, like I was falling.
Uh-huh.
But I was laid down the whole time. But
Wow.
the pull, and it was the same pull coming back. Like I just couldn't, I couldn't, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, did
But
you try and fight it?
I kind of, well, because I felt it first, and then before, like, I felt it, and then when I knew I couldn't fight it anymore, that's when I said, I'm gone, because I felt like I had to let somebody know.
Right.
I felt like I had to let somebody know, and that was my last, can you imagine?
I
My
can't.
last words. Boys, I'm gone.
Bye, so I'm gone.
See you later. Like, but it's I couldn't fight it. It was just
That
and then
really, that's Newfie humor. Oh my God. I can't wait for my mom and I to talk about this. It's going to be so much
oh yes, you have to tell her. Yeah, Bobby's famous last words. Boys, I'm gone.
fun. Bye, so I'm gone. I bet. So how did your family take learning that this experience happened? Not just the heart attack part, but that have you told them that you actually
Yeah.
left?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told. Well, um, my husband took me to the hospital.
Hmm.
He was a paramedic up till a couple of years ago when he had a stroke. And so he took me into the hospital. He stayed during the whole call. He did the compressions when I
Wow.
went. Yeah. So
He did
once,
the compression. Wait.
yeah, yes, he did the compressions because he was like with such a small hospital and the nurses and the staff that was there. He was just instantly considered an asset because he knows where all the things are in trauma. So he stayed through the whole thing. Um, so he did the compressions, and once I was back and they got me stable and moved me over to the ICU, then he started, he called my neighbor across the street to come over, and so he could call and tell my youngest son, Parker, um, what had happened. And then he called my son in Corner Brook, and then he called my mom and dad. So, but I told, like, my kids came in, like my son came out from Corner Brook, which was an hour away, him and his girlfriend, and then my son came up that lives with me. They were there in ICU with me, and I told them all right then. I was gone. Like, told them the whole story, and they were like, I think they were in shock anyway of the whole situation that happened. But my dad is such a believer, Christian, like Bible, the whole thing. Um, so I told my parents about it, the feeling, just the peace, and I mean, they're just, and I told them like, because both my parents are gone, so all my
Uh-huh.
grandparents are gone. So I just told them straight up like, when somebody's gone, like if this happens to me again and I go, just know I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Don't worry about me. Um, because it was just so peaceful. But they were like kind of in shock of it all, and definitely took it all in, and as a sign that we're more than just our bodies.
Hmm.
Like that was, and I don't know if that's where the peace comes from. Is that just you finally know that there's something more than being here?
Do you miss that piece? Like, do you find yourself missing it now?
I'm doing what I can to seek it.
Ah,
It was an eye opener. It's okay because I'm doing it to get that peace.
mm,
Um, because I feel like my entire adult life, from the time I had kids till today, has been high stress. Not till the day I had my heart attack, which was January the 4th.
oh,
So from the day, my whole adult life has been high stress. My first marriage, my husband was abusive, so got away from that when my son was just 3 months old. Then I found out 4.5 months later that I was pregnant with my second, and a
ah,
single mom, now on income support, back
right.
living with mom. So it's just been steady, and like I went from living home mom and dad to moving to the city, working my way up income support. And then my
Yeah.
youngest has had a heart condition, so it was just me and him. Had to go in open heart surgery. Like it's
Oh,
just been one thing after another. So now I feel like I was given the opportunity to feel what peace feels like, and I was given the opportunity to come back and live in peace. So that's what I'm seeking right now.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
It is. It
That's, I
is.
mean, that is such, I mean, I just, I really, I want to thank you for like stepping forward. And I know that you were like, well, there really isn't too much to it, but this is huge
Well, I
because,
didn't see the light. I didn't see
but
the light.
I know, like, not everybody sees the light, but you saw something and felt something more.
I felt it. Yeah.
You felt that peace and calm that now you're like, I'm seeking this peace and
Yes.
calm.
Yes.
That's a big
Exactly.
deal.
I think it was like, I think it was just my sign to say, hey, you can't continue like this. You can't live in high stress all the time. You have to do something about it. So I feel like I was given that chance to,
Yeah.
mm, yeah.
So in the beginning, you talked about your friends over in the St. John's area
Yeah.
that you two always get together and is like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna lose weight. Now, do you still have those same conversations or are you like
Uh,
more peace? Do you focus on the peace of your experience now?
I think like the biggest conversation that we've had since then is that the fact that if I didn't stay in my office where I'm at right now, if I didn't stay in my office that day and have that conversation with my friend, I could have been driving. I
Mm,
could have been in the middle of Walmart. That would have been terrible.
that would have been terrible, especially probably further from your house, from the
Yes,
hospital.
right. And just nobody, just I don't know. I could have been in a completely different place.
Yeah.
So my lesson there was that if I if me and my friend had already done the grown up things and act grown up, we wouldn't have been having that conversation and I probably wouldn't be here. I'm not going to stress too much about the not adulting like I should be. Living in the moment.
I'm coming to Stevensville when I come to Newfoundland this summer.
You have to come to
I'm gonna
Stephenville.
have a kitchen party with you and all of your friends.
My dear, I tell you. Well, depending on when you're here, I might be in St. John's
Oh,
either way. So you'll have to let me know when you're coming to Newfoundland. But did you know that Stephenville, Newfoundland, was actually an American military base?
so was Argentia Placentia. That was where my
Mhm.
mom and dad met. So
Yes.
that's closed down now, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The base is, yeah, like it's closed down in that sense, but it's still got, like, every year we have this big friendly invasion festival in the summertime
Oh,
where we go through all the American history of Stephenville. It's pretty
oh,
cool.
that is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it is really cool. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll. When is that? What month?
Oh my gosh, I think it's in July-ish.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the time to come to Newfoundland, right? Don't come in January.
No, actually, it was really warm here the last couple of days. It's been like 7 degrees, and it's like, oh, summer.
Summer is here. That's
Yes,
hilarious.
yeah.
Well, Bobbi-Jo or Robert Joseph, whichever you'd like to be called.
Either or.
You are just a breath of fresh air, and I love
Mhm.
your lesson of peace and your movement forward towards it.
Yeah, I
You
deserve that.
you deserve that. You
I
deserve
do.
that peace. And
Yes,
when you get it, you give it to other people, there's just the whole world opens up, you know?
right? There's no end to it.
There's no end to it. That's
There's
so
no end.
cool.
I
There's no
know.
end.
I feel like I was, it was terrible. What happened, like with the whole heart thing.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, that's messed with my head a lot too.
Yeah.
But I've got such a lesson from it. Like, nobody I know has ever felt that before.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing for sure.
Make sure you write it down.
I bought a book because of what had happened, and I'm like, my kids, like, I do too much for them. Like, I do, like, way too much. I won't even go into it. But I'm like, if I didn't come back, like, they'd be lost. Like, they would be lost. What, you know what I'm saying? So I bought a book, and it fits my humor perfectly, and my kids just roll their eyes at it. But it's called "I'm Dead. Now What?"
Now what?
Now what? So it's just a book to put all the things in it, my notes, where all the things are, passwords, and who to
Oh,
email after I'm
right.
gone. Like, do that for me, please. That type of thing. And
Don't
so
read
I'll
this. Stay away from that.
yes, yes. Send this person an email on their birthday 10 years in a row.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, and in the back is like 3 or 4 pages for notes, and I've already got it written there.
Oh,
So,
that's great. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
that has to carry on for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I know, well, I just really want to thank you for sharing that with us. And if there's any part,
Yeah.
you're so
So
sweet.
it's so fresh for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
him.
Right.
So,
Yep.
oh,
I'm so glad you're finding your peace.
I have to. Yeah. I don't, I'm such unknown territory right now because the market here for renting is terrible.
Uh,
I've got 3 animals.
yep.
It's gonna be hard, but I'm going with the belief that all this happened for a reason, so it's
Yep.
all gonna work out.
It's all gonna work out.
It's all gonna work out for
Yep.
sure.
For
No
sure,
stress.
Bobby.
Yeah.
For sure. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm just sending you oceans and waves of love. You're just so delightful. I can't wait.
Oh,
Yeah, I will meet you in person for sure.
I can't wait. I look forward to it for sure. I love your TikToks. Like, I hop on any chance I can get and just send a little Newfie hello, and
Oh, that's so sweet. You know, I love
yeah,
it.
yes. And thank you so much.
Oh, I did tell my mom that you said the West Coast was the best coast. She started laughing. She was
It's
laughing.
the weather here is gorgeous. I mean, out east is all RDF all the time, rain, drizzle,
Right.
fog. Like, it's terrible.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
it's pretty over here. It's nice.
Pretty over there. Yes.
Yeah.
I will for sure see it.
Awesome.
All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and good night and sleep well. Okay.
Yes, you as well.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.